All right, so got to a point where I'd taken it out a few times and now I want to bang rocks with it. So I just kind of want to shoot through stuff without worrying about it too much. So I bought this keel strip when I bought the boat kit. I think it was like 400 and some bucks. It's a keel kit, keel strip kit. So I got all the hardware for it and everything. And I'm working on a plan for the stomp crate to extend it out because I raised the intake. So I got the metal for that, but I figure, well, you know, it's time to flip the boat. So I'm gonna pull the engine and fuel tanks. It kind of sucks I put so much fuel in them, but I might just lift them out with straps in the tractor. But you know, that one's a little bit tight in the corner, but anyway. So I got the battery out, just getting ready to pull things, pop the pins and put the seat on the roof there. But so go ahead and pull the motor. I might run into an issue with the electrical because I put all the connectors, I just extended it forward. So I think what I may end up having to do is pull apart some of the stuff I tied together that wasn't tied together previously, and shouldn't be too big a deal, but I might have to cut a couple of wires, like the speed sensor. Let's see, I cut that a while back, or I installed it. Anyway, not too bad. I was looking at it going, yeah, what a pain in the butt, but really it's not that hard to pull. Alright, so we got the trim control box out, got the electric, the wiring harness pulled, and this is essentially the section here that I had to extend. I did have to cut 2 wires under there that were the fuel sending in it going that way. On that, they put the connector on that end, so I had to cut those, and I may, just for future's sake, maybe order some sealed pin connectors for being able to disconnect and not have to cut those wires in the future. And then the other one was the speed control sensor going that direction with the connector on that end that was separate from the main wiring harness to start with. So a couple of pin connectors, and then this job is a total pin disconnect and just cut some zip ties and pull the harness out of the way. So batteries out, trim box, wiring harness. I'm gonna keep going. All right, so I got the electrical box disconnected. 4 bolts here. I always try and put the hardware back where it came from, so I'm not sorting through it all trying to figure out where it came from. Got the motor mounts, bolts out, and the air box off. And I just have to, this is the jet siphon tube. It just sits down in there, down low in the sump there, and so I just got to pull the engine water tube and the jet feed engine water, and then the outlet for it, and the fuel line, and jerk it out. So I got it all set up and ready to go to lift. And something to remember as far as the way I did it, since I have these bottom 2 mounts that the factory mounts that go on the oil pan, I can't just slide it forward away from the coupler, so it has to tilt in the front and then slide out of the coupler as you lift. So you gotta, to not put undue pressure on the coupler, tilt it as you lift to get clearance from those bottom mounts and then pull out. So electrical, everything's tied up, all the tubing's disconnected, and we're ready to pull. fuel lines wrapped around the water intake T, so just clamped it off and pull it. And the water box as well. I'm having a hard time coming forward because I have the swim deck on now, and the swim deck is keeping the lift from moving any further. So I'm hoping to get it high enough to swing it over this fuel tank, enough to get it over in the corner, or just pull the fuel tank out. So I guess that's might be an easier option at this point, actually. Fuel tanks need to come out regardless because I'm flipping the boat over. There's our vent line. Let's see what we got. There's a few gallons in there. Alright, see if I can swing this baby. Raise it a little bit. Can swing itself. Yeah, there we go. That'll get us up. Hopefully I don't hit the ceiling before I clear. I think the stand I had this on before was taller, so I'm hoping clearing the boat will be easier. But as soon as I get this up, I might be able to just pull that water box off. There goes my There we go. Sweet. In the clear, I do believe. Yeah, I think we're going to clear a little better than we used to, because this, on that stand I had to pretty much get right up to the ceiling. And I'm clear enough to move now, so that's cool. Alright, so there's the aftermath. I'll definitely be inspecting all these welds. Looks like the motor sat on that pad just perfect, really. Because there's the oil pan is curved in the back. That's what I wanted. I just wanted no forward, backward movement. You know, and with the side mounts. Now, when I was lining up that coupler, I ended up having to add shims to the front left and the rear right. So that was kind of a nice option, be able to shim from side to side, you know, once I got the height set. But I set the height by those bottom mounts pretty much. I think it was a little low, and that's why I ended up shimming a little bit. But that process, you know, was fairly extensive. So anyway, I'm gonna pull this other fuel tank, clean the boat out, get it ready to flip. Now I do have to build a mount back there for that, a bottom mount for that water box as well. So I may do that after we do the UHMW, just, you know, why not? So in the meantime, get it all cleaned up, get it set up for the tractor to flip it. Probably pull the steering wheel, and I think it's going back on that stand because the trailers won't hold it upside down like it will, like the stand will. So get all that set up and then make a plan for putting the UHMW on. All right, so I pulled out all the essentials. Everything else should hold in there just fine. Everything still looks pretty good, but if you've watched my videos, you know that I had a leak in the bottom of that corner of that box. The inside weld looks like crap too, so I got it welded on the outside, but I'll probably fill that in, do a little better job there. Let's see, other stuff that I need to do. So yeah, make that mount here for the water box. I kind of like the rubber setup. I put rubber between that panel and the box, and then I used marine sealant and both to hold it on the box and between it and the panel. And that sucker was hard to come apart. So, you know, I'm pretty well convinced there's no issue with rubbing on that. And so I'm looking at building a mount that possibly I can put rubber straps around. So something that it'll sit in, be secure, and not want to move left and right, and then strap. Kind of like the factory did in the boat. They just had a strap or two going around it. So I think that'll suffice for that. But also, once I get the boat flipped, I need to add a stomp grate on top of the stomp grate that came with that intake, because it's up in there. There's about 5/8 inches of clearance. Well, 3/4 from the grates and 5/8 from the mounts for the grates. So I have that clearance there that I need to make even with the bottom of the boat, or the UHMW that's going to go on. So I do have some work to do before the UHMW goes on. Stomp grate being one, probably the first thing I'll work on this weekend. But also, I think I kind of screwed this up. This plate here, definitely want to get rid of the wings. Basically, I raised the pump, and which from the bottom of the boat puts it higher in the water. So that's, you know, in that respect, it's the negative. I don't regret it necessarily, because I don't think it's gonna be a net massive performance loss. But anyway, you know, maybe your trim adjustment, it would affect your trim and where it has to sit, but I don't know. But with this plate, I believe, after I got down looking at it, and it's slightly pointed down from the bottom of the boat in the back. I'm like, yeah, I definitely screwed that up. I think I was just in too much of a hurry. I was had the week off, wanted to get out with my family, so I just banged it out, and so that's going to end up getting redone. I'm thinking about just shortening this, running something more like this, angled back to where the wings will be gone, the plate will be shorter, and I'll have an angle here coming straight up from the back of that transom piece right there, that 4 inches. So essentially, the original design of the boat, as far as how it sits in the water and affects planing and such, is still in control. So and I think that'll be a net positive, you know, obviously raising that up to where I have an upward angle, and just reconnecting these here. I'll figure out where to put tubing and stuff, but I think that'll be easier with the boat upside down for sure. I got to make that stomp grate, probably correct those problems before I put the UHMW on. So I don't know, but I think the UHMW might come back here. You definitely have to cut out your own hole for your intake. So, and I'm kind of glad for that it wasn't pre-cut, because I think my cutout would be, well, it would be bigger, probably wouldn't matter. So anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna have to pull the jet pump or not. I'm not going to if I don't need to, but if it's kind of cumbersome to get around it to build stuff, I think it'll all be easier with the boat upside down. So if I can get all that set up, and I may just remove the speedometer. I think it's pretty much useless. You know, it was easy to do, but and I may end up using that hole for the sump bilge pump. I figure, well, I don't know how much head the bilge pumps will handle, but if I can just come up above the water line on the inside of the boat with the bilge outlet, and then back down to that fitting, it shouldn't have a problem pushing water out, but I guess it'll depend on the pump. So I'll just use that for bilge. Another thing I was thinking about was actually moving this exhaust down further. So I was looking at it, and I know on the jet ski, the exhaust sat about center to the pump. And this is a little bit high. And so I thought about moving this down further, maybe in closer here, and putting a flange on it, and then putting that original factory rubber, I don't know what you call it, but it's basically a round gasket that's this cut in the middle, kind of like a star cut. It's around here somewhere, but anyway, so that's another thought. I don't know if I'll do that this time around. I can do that anytime, really. I got full access here, easy access on the inside. So as far as getting it back in, you know, on the boat trailer and in the water, you know, that's what I want to do right now. And obviously now's the time to move the seat forward. So, you know, when it's nice and clear in here and easy to do. So that'll be probably after I flip it back over, and before I put the motor in, I'll move the seat forward. All right.